New York Mayor Rudolph Giuliani said today he has drawn his strength from the people of New York City since becoming mayor 8 years ago. Giuliani delivered his farewell speech today near the site of the World Trade Center tower's collapse. Terry Okita has the story.
Rudy Giuliani delivered his goodbye address at a historic church once attended by George Washington. St. Paul's Chapel was decked out with signs and banners and hundreds of the faithful hanging on his every word.
Although I have to leave you as the mayor soon, I resume the much more honorable title of citizen. Citizen of New York and citizen of the United States.
The pre-revolutionary church is in an area that cemented Giuliani's legacy, 1 block from the site of the former World Trade Center, now known as Ground Zero.
How are you?
Good work, sir.
Thank you. Good work.
It was these images that stuck in the minds of Americans during the worst terrorist attack in our country's history. His leadership, following September 11th, took Giuliani from mayor to Time magazine's Person of the Year.
There's no question that the only reason that I was selected the Person of the Year is that people of New York are the people of the year.
The mayor has seen record approval numbers in the last 4 months. But because of term limits, he could not run again in November. However, most New Yorkers say if they could have, they would have voted for him.
In the wake of the 9/11 events, he's really helped out the city a lot. And I personally wish he could stay another term.
Giuliani hands over the reins to Mayor-elect Michael Bloomberg at 12:01 on January 1st. Right now, he has no plans for the future, but says he will push for a memorial site where the World Trade Center once stood. Terry Okita, CBS News, New York.
U.S. military officials and leaders in Afghanistan and Pakistan all have different things to say about where Osama bin Laden is staying and if he's alive. Today, Arab TV station Al Jazeera aired another video of bin Laden. Jim Acosta has the story.
The Arabic satellite TV station Al Jazeera released its unedited version of the new Osama bin Laden videotape. In this latest airing, bin Laden praises the September 11th hijackers. Bin Laden also rails against U.S. policies in Israel and says America's collapse is imminent. It's another attempt, analysts say, to provoke Muslim anger and ignite a holy war. On bin Laden's whereabouts, there are new leads from Afghanistan's government. The Afghan Defense Ministry says bin Laden is hiding in Pakistan under the protection of the radical Islamic group, the JUI. The group's leader, seen here, labeled the statement a political gimmick. Contradicting his own defense officials, Afghanistan's interim Prime Minister Hamid Karzai is less sure about bin Laden's current position.
We don't know. Wherever he is, we should arrest him.
Karzai is coming under pressure from some tribal leaders. He's reportedly asked for a pause in airstrikes and ordered an investigation into last week's U.S. bombing of a convoy that possibly carried Afghans who support the new government. The U.S. still insists the convoy was being driven by Taliban warriors. As for bin Laden, if he's in Pakistan, the Pentagon believes U.S. forces can catch him there.
We have found the Pakistani government to just be very cooperative in so many things that I have trouble believing it would be a problem at all.
The Pentagon is planning to hold Taliban and al-Qaeda detainees close to America's shores at the Guantanamo Naval Base in Cuba. So far, some 45 prisoners are in U.S. custody and are being questioned about where bin Laden is hiding. Jim Acosta, CBS News, Washington.
Not long after the terrorist attacks came the anthrax scares in Florida, New York, and Washington, D.C. We continue our look at the stories of the year tonight from Gretchen Carlson.
It was an eerie scene. Employees at ABC News in New York, at American Media in Boca Raton, Florida, and several postal facilities evacuated from their buildings because of the potentially deadly bacteria anthrax.
Anthrax in this country is very uncommon.
Despite those calming words from the first doctor to diagnose the first deadly case of inhaled anthrax in decades in photo editor Bob Stevens, there were soon a total of 17 more up and down the East Coast and in our nation's capital.
I just talked to Leader Daschle. His office received a letter, and it had anthrax in it.
There was also an anthrax-laced letter sent to NBC headquarters in New York, where anchorman Tom Brokaw's assistant contracted the skin form of the disease. Both letters were almost identical. September 11th, 2001. They read, "Death to America, death to Israel, Allah is great." One added, "Have you taken your penicillin today?" Investigators combed the offices of NBC and later ABC and CBS when 2 cases of skin anthrax appeared there.
Anytime someone sends anthrax through the mail, it's an act of terror. It's terrorism.
And we treat it as an act of terror and terrorism.
Terrorism that even infected postal workers and contaminated mail distribution centers in New Jersey and the Washington, D.C. area. By year's end, 5 people in several states had died, all from the inhaled form of the disease.
You will never be 100% prepared for something like that because this is not a natural phenomenon.
And so the mystery continues. Despite hopes that an anthrax-laced letter sent to Senator Patrick Leahy would yield important clues, preliminary tests turned up no useful leads. Though initial speculation focused on foreign terrorists as the perpetrators of the attacks, experts say evidence increasingly suggests that the anthrax was produced right here in the United States. Gretchen Carlson, CBS News.